I'm listening to 49er Rush. Niners all day. Let's bring 6 home, baby. Let's go.
I love it, man.
It's time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What's going on? How is everybody on this awesome Thursday? I am pumped, and I feel like if you're a Niners fan, this is a very, very good time because we've had so many issues with injuries for, I don't know, a millennia. I feel like it's just like, time in, time out, just okay, who's out. We're finally getting a rush. 49ers rush. Look at that. Almost wrote that in there. I didn't write that in there. I'm not that corny. I am that corny. I'm not that talented. That's the better way to say it. But the idea is this. We're getting people back. We're not just getting people. We are getting quality starters back at every phase of the game. And it could not come at a better time. And so we're going to dive into that. I've got a lot of play clips that I want to jump in just from breaking down the film on Patreon. Shout out to Juan Salas, the beautiful man himself, for doing all these cut-ups and stuff. We've got press conference clips that he's been working really, really hard on. And we're saving, again, our kind of predictions and breakdown of the Arizona game. We're going to probably be doing that Saturday. My youngest has a football game Friday. The football season that I coach, it has finally come to a conclusion, sadly enough. We didn't do too well, but that's okay. Kids grew up. We learned a lot of football. We had a good time. That's what that is. And so anyway, good news. I'll be able to start recording a little bit earlier, hopefully, and be able to put out much more content. That's always the goal. And shout out to the Countdown crew. If you guys have not hashtag CC'd, go do it now. Because look at this bad boy. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. We are giving this away game day. Right after the Cardinals game, we've got the stitched on with the 75 patch and everything Joe Montana jersey for free. For free. What do? Hashtag Countdown Crew. So make sure you get that in there. And I want to say shout out to a lot of freaking awesome people that I'm seeing in here, including the great and wonderful David Gatton. The Gatton brothers, you guys came through so strong. We're putting together just a mini slideshow of, the awesome trip that we threw in Chicago. And I got to say, man, the Gatton brothers came out strong. Cooking skills, food skills, beer skills. The man just the best in the business. So just want to say thank you, brother. Really do appreciate you and all the support for the podcast. Now, let's jump over. And, man, listen to these names, ladies and gentlemen. Listen. George Kittle, the number 1 tight end in the land. Azeez Al-Shire, he's back. He's starting. We got Robbie Gould, our kicker, back, which, you can take that or leave it, whatever. D Ford's coming back, a little bit extra help on the edge. And Jeff Wilson is practicing. We'll get into if we think he's going to play this week. I doubt that he does. That's a lot of guys back. Plus, whenever you add into that, you just traded for Charles Omenihu. That is 6 contributors, like 6 solid contributors on offense, defense, and special teams that is going to be helping drastically moving forward, okay? This is a big deal. And I'll say this, and we're going to break down each one of these and their impact that they're going to have. What's up, Wayne Breezy? I see you, big dog. One of the best in the business. Shout out Nitty Gritty Niners. That's what I'm talking about. But let's talk. This was a question that was brought on through email. One of the all-name teams. Flagan Watkins. Man, I love this email. If you want to reach out to us, 49ersrushpodcast@gmail.com. He said, hey, I want to know what I think the running back kind of depth chart will be once Jeff Wilson returns. Okay, so again, understand, this is with the caveat, I don't think Jeff Wilson's going to be activated this week. I really, really don't. Now, they activated his practice window, but I don't think that he's going to be active on game day. I think next week, that's his week. It's going to take him a little while to get up to where he's going to need to be. But once he's back healthy, here's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what it is. Elijah Mitchell is 1A. And they're going to rotate in Jeff Wilson Jr. He's going to be 1B. And then you have Hasty as your third down back. With the predominant lion's share of the carries, they're going to go to Elijah Mitchell. Okay, he's proven, 3 straight games, 100-plus yards. He's going to be the guy. That's all that there is to it. But and here's one of the main issues that I have a problem with. Kyle Shanahan doesn't trust other running backs. He doesn't even trust JaMychal Hasty to run the traditional offense. Third down guy, sure. Pass protection, sure. Whatever. But you can only give Mitchell so many carries. And so that's what's stopping us from doing the whole, 35-plus rush attempts. We can't do that right now. We just don't have the bodies. And you can say whatever you want about Trey Sermon. Listen, I've got the same opportunity to get carries as Trey Sermon does with Kyle Shanahan currently. I'm hoping that changes. But, it's not going to. And Hasty has carved out his spot in the third down role. And he's going to be kind of stuck there. I don't think that changes. But what Jeff Wilson does is you go in and you're able to ride the hot hand and you don't have to lean so heavily on one person. Jeff Wilson is kind of a multi-purpose, do-it-all kind of guy. He could be the third down back, but we have that role and that niche carved out. He's going to be the 1B, okay? So again, if I had to guess, carries-wise, if you could draw it up however you want it, you'd get 16 carries for Mitchell. You'd get 14 carries for Jeff Wilson. You'd get probably 2 to 3 carries for Hasty. That would be the breakdown in touches. But again, Hasty's probably going to get a little bit more of those targets. So that's what I would be looking there. Now, Dre Greenlaw, Drew brings that up. He's still a week out. I was hoping to have him back this week. That would be huge. Dre Greenlaw, I love Dre Greenlaw. The good news is we got back Aziz, which is really important because now that moves back Marcel Harris to the third linebacker, which is important, and DFF will now be the reserve role, which is also important. Marcel Harris played relatively well. I finished that defensive breakdown that I did for Patreon. It was about an hour 45 minutes. It was a long one. So again, if you head over to patreon.com, 49ers Rush Podcast, that's available for you now if you want to dive into that. But what I wanted to do is listen to the king of the defense himself, linebacker number 1, Fred Warner, just talk about how important Aziz has been and why he's been able to have so much success this year.
I think with Aziz, man, he's remained humble the entire time. I think as you grow throughout your career, you get more comfortable in the scheme. The game slows down a little more. You gain that confidence. He had a heck of a training camp. You could tell that he was prepared from day one. He trained his butt off wherever he was at. I think Florida, and came in ready to go. Had some setbacks early on, but that didn't stop him. He jumped off the tape week 1 and has continued to get better and better. Unfortunately, had the concussion, but I feel like he's going to just pick up right where he left off.
Yeah, I'll say this too. Sorry to cut you off there, Fred. I'll say this too. Like, injuries are important. What injuries they had are important because, like Jeff Wilson, he's coming off a lower leg issue. He's a running back. That's going to take a while to rehab. Even though his body's healthy, he might not be in running back NFL level shape, right? Aziz already played the entire season, had a concussion, literally just had to sit out and relax, almost rest his body. It's like a bye week. He gets to step in once he's cleared protocol. He's ready to go. You don't miss beats. With Jeff Wilson, he's been out for several months, and he's a running back. You got to be in that shape. So it's not just coming back from injury that matters. It's what type of injury you're coming back from. D Ford, exact same concept, right? Another concussion issue. So he was out, but now he's back in. And again, not like you're missing time and you have to rehab your body with a concussion issue. Okay, that's not what that is. But now let's talk some George Kittle, because I'll be honest with you. This dude is the personality of the offense. 1, outside of Trent Williams, he's the best blocker we have. And then you could say 2, maybe outside of Deebo, the best pass receiving option we have as well. Like, he is that freaking good, and maybe even better. I'm the biggest Kittle believer ever, that his personality, his leadership, it's hard to enact that whenever you're on the sideline and you're not suited up. He's not in the huddle. He's not on the field. He's the most energetic person maybe in the NFL. And so whenever you lose that, that's some of the stuff that we've been missing. And you say, well, it worked really well. The offense was humming against the Bears. That's the Bears. You don't have the Bears this week. You got the Cardinals. That's a pretty damn good defense. We only put up 10 points against them last time. Now, Trey Lance was starting. We had a lot of issues outside of that, but the offense is much healthier now. Listen to Jawline talk about Kittle.
I mean, just having him out there for the walkthrough just a little bit ago, you could feel him. He's got some, fresh legs, so he's looking fast right now. So I'm excited to get him back out there. Just another weapon for us. We got Jeff Wilson coming back too, so it's a good Wednesday for us.
Man, when was the last time we've had great injury news? That's the thing, guys. Like, we're not getting back one defensive end. We're getting two, because we're getting D Ford and Charles Omenihu. And also they came out, D'Amico Ryans, we'll have this clip for you tomorrow. D'Amico talked about just a while ago, they just wrapped up the press conferences a few minutes ago. Juan's been working his tail end off on that as well. He talked about how a big reason why they went out to get Charles is because with Kinlaw's injury, and when we saw this as well in the game versus the Bears, Eric Armstead's playing inside. He's playing inside. And so you need that extra help on the defensive outside. So you got Jordan Willis out there. Obviously, Nick Bosa is the best in the business. But now you've got Jordan Willis. You've got D Ford. You got Sampson, who started and took a lot of snaps. Now you got Charles Omenihu. I mean, you've got all these guys rotating on the outside now. And again, another adjustment that was made on film. We were running with 4 defensive ends out there in pass rush situations. Okay? 4 of them. You had D Ford and you had Sampson. You had Jordan Willis and D Ford outside, Eric Armstead and Arden Key inside, or Sampson inside. Like, they were just literally putting out nothing but pass rush guys, and it worked really, really well on some plays. That's what it is. What's up, George? Glad to have you with us, man. I love it. And yeah, Kittle being back, and man, he brought the energy in the press conference today. They asked him, are you playing too hard? Is that why you're always injured? Which I get that question a lot. I get a lot of emails. Man, maybe he just plays too hard. And Kittle basically was like, well, let's see here. Let's go through my injury. 2 injuries because I took a helmet to the knee. One was because I strained a lower leg. And another one was because I got rolled up on one time. And he's like, none of those were because I was playing too hard or whatever. And again, I'm with you there. So I'm so glad to have these guys back. And they're going to change everything. And the new D-line depth, let's listen to the coaching staff talk about what it means to trade for Charles Omenihu, who you got for a 2023 sixth. The kid's 24, cheap as hell, incredibly productive rate, just another situational guy with some elite traits. Here's what they had to say.
We've been banged up there at our D-line, outside and inside, especially here in the last couple of weeks. So we thought it could be important to add some depth to us. Also, looking into everything, the fact that getting him this year, a guy that does have another year on his contract, we don't want to do anything that, we'd love to do stuff that can help us this year, but you don't want it to be at the expense of next year. So that made total sense to us. And we just got him in here today, and we'll get him out to practice here this week, and I think he'll fit in.
And I mean, again, defensive line is one of the positions that's easiest to transition into. Defensive end, D-tackle, it's not very complex. I mean, there is complexity to it, but it usually translates across schemes, 3-4, 4-3, multiple, whatever else. So that's not going to be an issue. You can literally just start them out like, look, dude, we're going to put you out here, line up in the C gap, and just press outside. Don't let Kyler Murray outside if Kyler Murray plays, which I'm not sure he's going to. But again, more bodies. And this has been the entire team's philosophy since Shanahan and Lynch showed up, whether you like it or not. D-line, O-line depth. Screw corners, screw wide receiver depth. We build in the trenches, and we'll see what else happens. And so they go in there, and we have been banged up there. And again, another promising thing. Kentavious Street got like maybe 15 snaps in the game. He went from starting, to 15 snaps and was productive in a positive way. That's his role. You have role players and you have star players. And so when you can figure out just developing your roster in the depth chart, okay, this guy can do this, and if we ask him to do more, we lose the very little thing that he could bring to the team. Right? You don't build your team around Kentavious Street. And I'm not trying to like bag on the guy. He's an NFL player, and I think he provides something for this team. He's a penetrating 3 technique that struggles versus double teams. Like, John Chapman's not smart, but non-smart John Chapman can figure that out really, really quick. It didn't take me all this time. But whenever you have all those injuries, sometimes hey, we don't have anybody else. We have to play you. That's just what it is. And so, even me, my team as a coach, like, we had no quarterback. We didn't have a quarterback. And my team would tell you the same thing. But we got to have a quarterback. So we're rotating guys in from different positions and we're not throwing a pass more than 10 yards. We're Jimmy G-ing it out there. And, you got to find a way to make it work. You got to play football. And sometimes you don't have the guys you need. So now that you bring in all this extra D-line depth, now Kentavious Street, number 9-5, is playing a role where he can be successful. You're putting your players in a position of success. And that's great news because he was playing on the correct side of the line, wasn't going against double teams and whatever else, and that's positive. That's huge. And bringing in all these different bodies, I think that's what's important. Let's see here. Martin, and we talked about this just a little bit. Martin asked this question. Do you buy the speculation that Jimmy was about to get benched, but was saved by Deebo's long play? We had 9 points at the half. The offense was moving, but we kept struggling getting into the red zone, and that was a problem. And yeah, it's speculated, but no, I'm telling you, it's what happened. Trey Lance was warming up, coming out of the half. Now, does he usually do that? Most quarterbacks do. But also, Shanahan was freaking fired up in Jimmy Garoppolo's face, which I love. Like, press conference, and we show all the press conference clips, right? Support your quarterback, be positive, all those things. You don't correct players' behavior patterns or try to adjust, or motivate them negatively through the press conference. That's not the way to do those things. You charge them up on the sidelines. You charge them up in the locker room. You charge them up in the meeting rooms. That's where you do that, in the office, right? And so Shanahan's charging them up after that. And, man, it looked bad. It looked really, really bad. But then you had the huge, 80-yard screen pass and all that. But here's what I'll say, okay? And look, I'm telling you this right now. This entire game versus the Bears defense, which was awful, was his best game. It was by far his best game. I'm going to show you a clip right now, okay? This was the clip. This was the very first series, the very first third down. All right, we're about to go 3 and out to start the damn game. It's 3rd and long, and I thought this was one of Jimmy's best passes of the year by far. Over the middle, 3rd and 10. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man pressure. They're coming early, and Jimmy's, he doesn't step into it, but man, he anticipated it perfectly and recognized. Watch Sanu here. He's the number 2 wide receiver on the right side. You'll see him just post, get underneath. Man, and understanding, again, this is one of the things this is why you stay with Jimmy, right? If you're operating under Kyle Shanahan logic, because he can get you these plays because he recognizes what's going on. I mean, look at when this ball comes out, and I think this is kind of one of the key things. Recognizing, we'll watch Jimmy's eyes from the backside, but recognizing, look, okay, as soon as they're coming, you look at this safety, he's got to go to Deebo. Look where he's letting go of this ball. You're throwing to the vacated safety spot at the sticks. Look at that. Almost like, that's uncanny. That's awareness. That's giving him a chance. It's a little high. Nice catch and route by Sanu, who, man, he played really, really well all in all. This is a big play. And so, you go from, man, that's going to be a 3-and-out play to start the game to, man, make it a perfect pass, right over the middle. Good things going on. Now, we don't get points from that because we missed the field goal. Thanks, biceps. It's going to happen. We got Robbie Gould back. We'll see how that goes. Usually when Robbie Gould comes back from an injury or a holdout, he struggles. So I'm just warning you, kind of prepare yourself with whatever it is that you got to. Now, sticking with Jimmy. I'm not a Jimmy guy. I feel like I'm a Trey Lance guy, big time. But above both of those things, I'm a 49ers guy. And the question here is, I love this, from Niner Fan 87. Do you see Lance get out there at all this week in special packages? Now remember, Trey Lance, his only first start was against who? The Arizona Cardinals. So, a little bit of familiarity with the defense, right? Understanding what he's going to see. Can he capitalize on that? 100% he should. But I've been as outspoken as possible. Jimmy should start. Trey needs reps. The worst thing that could happen is just Trey sitting nonstop. I don't think Trey's ready to start just yet. Now, if he's fully healthy and Jimmy has a bad time, then I want to see him out there for sure. But, man, you ride Jimmy. He's playing hot. That's the best game he's had probably since the Saints game in 2019. Like, you got to go back that far. This was Jimmy's best game on the road since the Saints game on the road in 2019. Let's see if he can capitalize and build off that. But even if Jimmy's red hot, yeah, I still want Trey Lance to get 10 snaps. That's my target for him. He should get that. He deserves that. Like, let him, he provides extra things, even if it's just in the goal line, right? Or third or fourth down situations or whatever. Like, yes, get him out there. Even if he's just a decoy, don't care. Get him out there. Oh, Niner Sickness, man. Love the show. A bit of guests on his show. If you haven't checked out Niner Sickness yet, go ahead and do so. I love it, man. Lots of freaking awesome, badass people in here. 49ers fans are spoiled, guys. It's so spoiled. So many content creators that just put out great content. And again, what's your flavor, right? Like, you kind of got to pick what it is you want, or you can consume it all, which isn't a bad thing. Now, back to Deebo. And again, we put this up on our Patreon. If you want to go back and watch this, we got over an hour and a half for the offense. We got over an hour and a half for the defense. I mean, you're talking almost 3.5 hours of content just going through the all 22 over on our Patreon. 300 plus members over there. So go check it out. Patreon.com, type in 49ers Rush Podcast. Join us there. You get access to everything as soon as you sign up. You don't like it? Money back guaranteed. Also, it's the best way to support the podcast. This play was right before the half. This was the Jimmy deep ball. What? Oh, Jimmy, this?
What is this about, baby? Look at that ball. Who would have guessed? The deep post from Deebo. Man, he just freaking straight post. There ain't nothing special. That's a deep post. Nice catch. Now let's watch Jimmy. He steps back. We get the pass protection that we need, which is usually what we've been lacking. And, man, he just freaking, okay, he lets go of this ball at about the, what, let's say the 37. 37 and a half, 37. So that's going to be 13 yards to the 50. Ball is caught basically at the 10. That's a 53-yard pass, air yards. Who would have thought Jimmy was capable? But that's right on the money, man. And as soon as this safety steps up, you freaking load it. This is a cover 2, okay? So this is a cover 2. He's going to be responsible right here. So it looks almost like a cover 3, but what's happening here, you're running this, and you have to run this break at about 13 yards because that's the break point. And so you're forcing this guy to choose. And as soon as he takes a step, that lets you know he's got outside here, he's got the other half, and there's no way because you're going to keep him occupied with an Aiyuk route. So that leaves the middle of the field open. And right here, as soon as this guy declares, that's when you freaking air it out. You just throw it to the inside. And freaking Deebo's incredible. Time's almost up. Look at him. He knows what's up. Whew. Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to see the safety from behind him, unfortunately. Pass pro was incredible. I mean, good Lord. Another pancake. You got back-to-back pancakes on pass pro. I think it was 2 plays ago. But let's count it out. Let's see what it's got. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. You can chunk it deep. You don't need all day. That's why to watch 71 again. We got him twice with this, Quinn. Bonk, bonk. Deebo tracking the ball, going up and getting it. Contested catch. I mean, Deebo ain't getting separation on routes. That's not who he is. He's just so damn tough. Man, that I could watch that on repeat, guys. Like, the idea of us actually having a deep game, that helps out the running game. It helps everything. Everything. And again, you know, Jimmy only threw 2 passes that traveled over 20 yards. He did have 3 that were like 15 to 19 yards. So like the air yards were there much more often. Oh, I love it. Shot J. Yes, I love it, man. The Indiana Jones. He chose poorly. Good job. Appreciate that reference there, man. And you know, again, back to that film. You know, whenever I was breaking down all the Trent Williams pass pro, the dude pancaked like 4 dudes. And it's not like he's pancaking some quality players. And so, man, that's there. It's there. It's there. Now, Deebo, we got to talk about Deebo, okay? This is yesterday's press conference with Kyle because Deebo's missed practice yesterday. Let's see what he did today.
No, he couldn't go today. Hopefully he'll be able to go tomorrow. I'd be surprised if he can't go by Sunday, but he definitely can't go today.
And so Deebo was on the bike today and got a limited tag, so he did get to, get out there. So Deebo's going to be okay, but yeah, he's a little banged up, but he's going to be out there. Now, before we jump over, and I want to transition and do a whole Aiyuk segment, okay? So y'all buckle up, get ready for number 11. But before we do, let's pay some bills. My bookie, what's up? When I gamble, always looking for ways to get an edge, but at my bookie, they double your first deposit, so you start with a leg up. Use my promo code 49ERS 49ers. Sign up now, claim your first deposit bonus with my bookie, and use the extra funds to kickstart your winning seasons. A lot of fun matchups this week. You got the 49ers without Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Then you look Sunday night, the Titans and the Rams without Derrick Henry. So there's so many different places that you can jump into, but don't just take my word for it. Head to MyBookie, sign up now with the promo code 49ers, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to get your money doubled before you even start a bet. So remember, good friends don't let friends win alone. So you have your buddies, use the referral link if you are eligible, and an additional $250 bonus on their first deposit. Plus, it's unlimited to redeem, so all your friends can join the party at MyBookie. Bet anytime, anything, anywhere with MyBookie. And I'll say this for the Thursday night for the live people. I put $10 on the Jets tonight. It's 10.5 points, and I don't feel good about it at all. I want to participate in the Mike White roller coaster that is, and I just, it's entertainment, baby. That's how I'm seeing it. So, do I believe in the Jets? Hell no, I don't. But man, that Mike White game was nuts. It makes no sense. I went back and watched it after the Niners game. Like I just. Sometimes it reminds me, the feeling reminds me a lot of March Madness. Like, what? Like, you root for the 15, 16 seed? That's how I feel right now. So, I put money down. I'm taking 10.5 points. So, we'll see. You guys want to join me? Probably not the smartest bet in the world, but I don't care. It's going to be fun as hell. So, that game's taking place tonight. Now, I'm getting this question, Bobo, and I want to talk about this before we jump to Aiyuk. He says, do you think we should take a chance on Odell Beckham Jr. if he's released from the Browns? Okay. I have never been one of the anti-Odell guys, right? So you go back to, all the stuff with the Giants and whatever else. Like, the dude puts everything he has on the field. Is he emotional? Yes. This is the first time that I was like, oh, dude, that's kind of shady. You shouldn't be doing that stuff. And a lot of it wasn't even him. It was LeBron James. It was his dad. Can you control the dad? Can you control LeBron James? Whatever else. Now he's a healthy scratch from the Browns practice. How they're going to handle that, who knows? It might, literally just cut him, and then you have to let him clear waivers. Then he gets to pick where he wants to sign. My guess is the 49ers would not be anywhere near the top of his list because, again, we don't throw deep. We have very young number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. He would be the number 3. We run the fewest number 3 wide receiver packages pretty much in the NCAA or in the NFL. We didn't last year, but this year we did. Last year, a lot more 3 wide receiver sets. This year, not so much. So, is he a good enough football player? Yes. Can you bring him into our locker room? Man, I don't know. I really don't know if I want him and Deebo and Aiyuk hanging out. And not because I think he's a toxic guy, but all the stuff that comes with it. We have been able to stave off all the circus stuff, right? I think the biggest issue we've had is I think Trey Lance once wore a Dodgers hat. That was it. That was it, right? So I don't know. He would have to really, really want to be a part of this locker room, and it'd have to be a cheap 1-year prove-it deal where he would be playing to incentivize for a long-term contract with somebody else. And if that was the case, yes. Am I taking on the contract he has now? Hell no. But again, I believe that Odell Beckham Jr. is a freak athlete and an amazing wide receiver. Do I think that we fit his skill set? No. Do I think our offense fits his skill set? No. Do I think our personnel in the wide receiver room fits his skill set? No. So I can't, from an OBJ perspective, I can't make sense of it. From the 49ers perspective, yeah, I'd reach out. Hey, man, you want a $1 million incentive deal to prove it, and we're going to give you that opportunity to prove to everybody else how awesome you are and whatever, and then you can sign for a huge deal somewhere else, or if you love it here, you can stay. We'll offer you a deal, maybe. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. And again, I I'm with you, Mark. Like, I don't think we need him here. That's not what we're missing. Sanu, there's a big difference between Sanu and OBJ. I understand that. I get that. But I'm just not seeing it, man. We're not the Miami Heat of whatever. I just don't see that. It just doesn't see a fit for me. Now, let's transition. Let's talk about the wide receiver we do have, Brandon Aiyuk. And so, like, this was huge. Couple key plays. There was one point in the game where we 3 straight targets to Aiyuk on crucial downs, and I loved it, man. He caught 2 of them. One of them was thrown out of bounds. But this play was on 3rd and long, and it just turned into scramble drill. And, man, you usually... I'm going to talk through the scramble drill and the rules and all that kind of stuff in this clip. This is a little bit of a long clip. Again, this was on Patreon, but I thought that this was key. His eyes, okay? He's looking to the right side. Now, he comes back to the left side. He didn't like this play. I don't blame him. Now he's going to create on his own. Look at him just scramble. Watch Aiyuk. What the rules are this, okay? If you're short and the quarterback starts to scramble, you go long. If you're long and the quarterback starts to scramble, you go short. If you're in the middle, you mirror. So watch how all these 3, let's grade our wide receiver room on what they're supposed to do. Okay, you see, he told him, go, 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 go. This is great. This is great. That's 3 for 3. People that are doing what they're supposed to do in the scramble drill. And so, again, like, you have to realize where they are. Okay, boom, right here. You go deep, you come short, you mirror. Man, look at Aiyuk, get space, backyard football. Jimmy, amazing throw on the run. Nice hands. God, that's huge. That's a hell of a play right there. Aiyuk was covered over the middle. They had all their linebackers sitting on it. You'll see it's just this big kind of whatever conglomeration of defenders. But this play was a bust from the start because they couldn't line up right. You'll see 11 come across right here. And you can see, man, just 1, 2, 3 linebackers. It's just not there. And so you can see the bottom of his feet here. Man, you just follow him. You mirror the quarterback and just keep your eyes up. Look at that. Just flip. Nice catch. Gets upfield. That is a huge freaking play. And again, great job by the O-line staying with it. I mean, that's really, really good offensive line play. But Jimmy G, I mean, you got to give him credit, man. He created that. Almost got a penalty there with McGlinchey going downfield. That was kind of the big one. But it was close, but we didn't get it. And I'll say this. I'm seeing, people bringing up, Deshaun Jackson. Again, okay? Fit for both people. Deshaun Jackson's going to get a pick wherever he wants to go. He cleared waivers, so he gets to go wherever he wants. Now, the issue is this. The only thing I can say with Deshaun Jackson that makes sense, he's from the Bay Area. That's it. Outside of that, again, why would you be in one of the most significant deep threats in NFL history sign with a team that has the fewest air yards in the NFL by a considerable margin? I just don't understand it. Now, the one thing, again, I will say, he can line up in the slot, which is kind of what we're looking for as our third down guy. But, again, this is already, another guy. You're complaining about guys. We're not complaining. You're bringing in guys that want more targets. We don't have more targets. We're getting Kittle back, right? Now, maybe if an injury happens, then it would make sense. And again, let's say Deebo missed time or Aiyuk did, then perhaps. Then I'd be like, all right. But, we just brought back Austin Watkins to the practice squad. Is he the savior? No, but a developmental prospect that knows our system a little bit, that we've shown interest in. I think that would be where it'd be. But I'm not interested really in bringing either of those 2 guys in unless this is where they want and they're like, hey, we want to come play here. Because they would understand. If this is their last effort, guys, I hate to tell you, this is not going to go well. Neither one of those guys are getting more than 3 targets with us, right? It ain't going to work. It's just not who they are. What's up, Johan? Love from Ireland. I'm freaking awesome. Man, love all these people with us. Let me know where you're at. Where you guys listening to the show at? I'm curious. Which city, where you at? Put it in there. I'm in Pasadena, California currently. What's up, what's up? That's my hometown. Let me know where you're at. And as you guys do that, this play right here, this was the 2-point conversion, which was clutch. Guys, this was a 2-point conversion that was drawn up for Brandon Aiyuk. And he lit it up. We've ran this same route to Aiyuk from the outside, from the number 2, and now the inside number 4 wide receiver. So when I say number 4, you count outside in, right? Here's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Again, he gets separation. And so it's the exact same move, just from different points. Stick, get to the middle. I mean, look at the separation that is created. And again, the reason why this play happens, everybody says we got to stop Deebo. And so they walk their linebacker out over here. So you've got a 2-by-1 set over here. And because of that, that opens up the middle. And I mean, just look at the separation. There's nobody anywhere around. Perfect ball placement, right? I mean, on the face mask. And the reason why this works so well, Deebo demanding attention. And then just the route concept here. And man, just amazing stem from Brandon Aiyuk. Ooh, that is such a key play. This don't ring up on the stat sheet, but that changed everything because you were up by 5, right? 21-16, I believe. And oh no, I think this is when we jumped up even more than that. Sorry. But man, look at this route. Ooh. Perfect pass. Great. Best game by far this year from Aiyuk. And blocking as well. Dude, I highlighted several different plays just about how great he was, Brandon Aiyuk, blocking. And just, attributing all those things. He spoke today in the press conference, basically saying how him and Kyle Shanahan had some words, I believe is the way he phrased it. And after that, once they came to an understanding, he adjusted some things and his plays improved. And he got more snaps than Deebo did. I love seeing where everybody's from, man. This is incredible. Califlax, West Virginia, Albuquerque. We got Pennsylvania, South Carolina, obviously San Jose, which I love. We have more. We got a couple people from Ireland watching right now, which is great. Redmond, Oregon, Modesto. I freaking love this. Bakersfield, incredible, man. Just bringing everybody together. Talking 49ers. There's a community out there, right? And that's what we're about. Maryland, what's up, Courtney? We're trying to build that community and bring everybody together. And that's what all the, the Rush road trip and all that stuff's about. You meet these people from all over. It's incredible, man. Just building those relationships. Love it. We got Riverbank, Fort Lauderdale, Hawaii. What's up, Bobo? Freaking love it. That's awesome. Now, before we jump out, and again, if you got some more questions, throw them in there. This was one of the most fun clips, I thought. It's not so much football specific. This was on the Jimmy G touchdown whenever off the zone read, which he kept. I think this was his second touchdown. And pay attention to, this was, I shared this morning. Wide receivers are different than offensive linemen. I don't know how else to say this. They are just different. Their brains are different. Their psyche's different. And sometimes it shows up. And this one, I thought, highlighted that pretty well. Aiyuk says, yeah, we got the touchdown. There we go. We got it. I'm tired. I'm going to go back to the sideline. Wide receivers and O-linemen are different, okay? Watch the difference between the O-linemen. Okay, so here we go. Watch the difference between the O-linemen and the wide receivers. Okay, so watch Aiyuk and here's another wide receiver up here, Deebo and Aiyuk. We're walking away. All of the linemen, yay, celebrate. This is fun for us. Wide receivers, man, whatever. They just walk away. It's just a different mindset. It's just different. It's not necessarily a negative thing with Deebo or Aiyuk. That's not what it is. I'm telling you, as a coach, it's different for wide receivers and linemen. That's all there is to it. But literally, like, everybody here, you can see Deebo walking away and Aiyuk's about to walk away, and all the linemen are like, yay, friends, and Aiyuk just like, nah, we good. It's just different. It's different. And man, it's so weird. Like, you have certain personality traits. It's not only body types, personality traits that kind of hone in and define certain positions. It's just what it is. But I thought that was hilarious. I was listening to another Niners podcast. I don't remember which one it was, but they were trying to spin that like in a negative way. Like, oh, Aiyuk, he didn't want to participate and stuff. And I'm just like, golly, man. Like, that's not what it is at all. Like, you got to understand, it's just different mindsets. It's not a negative thing. Don't spin it that way. It's just different, and you celebrate the differences. It's funny. I think it's funny. Oh, what's up, 49ers George? Thank you so much for the gift. He says, thank you, John. Right back at you, man. It just... creating content, informing, right? And again, the whole goal of walking away from today, If you're just joining us, I want to say thank you. Please go back, spend some time in this. A lot of good clips from press conferences, from film, all those things. But the idea is this. Reinforcements have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. We're like at the last 15 minutes of Endgame, right? Like that, or whatever that. Yeah, like everybody's coming back. We're getting all these guys. Kittle, Aziz, Gold, D Ford, Jeff Wilson. Next week, guess what? We're going to have my man Greenlaw back. All great things. Now, Jimmy Ward, he's probably going to be missing this week. That's going to hurt. Maurice Hurst, he's been out for a couple weeks. That's going to hurt. But again, we're getting all this back. Okay. Now, one thing that we do have to watch, and this is going to be, again, I was planning on doing a Friday preview show, but we're not going to get news about Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins until probably Saturday, because this is a game in Santa Clara. So we'll find out if they're on the plane ride up there. Another thing to keep in context, I've already started doing some of my research. The 49ers in their last 11 home games, this hurts. 1-10. They've won 1-10 in their last 11 games in California. Not California, just outside of San Francisco. So, man, that trend's got to buck. It really, really does. It's got to. We got to get rid of that crap. So anyway, appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely incredible. Been a lot of fun. We've got a lot more stuff coming in. Again, if you want to watch all those breakdowns, 3+ hours on last week's game, diving into scheme, all this stuff, assignments, protections, whatever else, that's on Patreon. Go to patreon.com, type in 49ers Rush Podcast, join there. That's available for you. And as always, thank you and stay strong, faithful.